we must realize that governments must perhaps institutionalize some gender sensitivity analysis of their budgets and be able to figure out that in the resource allocation, as we look at our priorities, to what extent can we say that these resources are directed and targeted to issues that are sensitive to women? I speak to this because we cannot, in dealing with the women's agenda on Africa, continue to be speaking about development partners supporting us. If we truly believe that our women in Africa and globally are important, and let me just focus on Africa, then let us start with our own parliaments. Let us start with our own county assemblies. How gender sensitive are the budgets that they approve, that they formulate and approve? Because this business of saying that we shall always depend on our partners is dangerous. There is something that is called donor fatigue. And we could reach a point where we might come into contact with the donor fatigue sooner than later. So it is important as people from the continent of Africa, where a lot of these conflicts are emerging, to take a more serious look at ourselves, our processes, and our practices, and start allocating more resources so that we put our money where our mouths are. Countries worldwide have developed national action plans to implement the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325, raising awareness of the unique challenges women face in conflict and post-conflict settings. In Kenya and many African countries, women are included as key stakeholders in peace processes, with their voices being heard in negotiations and decision-making. I assure you that Kenya fully supports this global agenda. We have already embarked on the development of Kenya's third National Action Plan, that is the NAP 3. This gives us an opportunity to leverage on our past achievement to define a more constructive engagement of women in future peace processes. The road ahead demands even greater ambition, strategy, and inclusivity. We must localize efforts, strengthen accountability, and establish robust mechanisms for tracking progress, measuring impact, and holding actors accountable for their actions. With real-time data, transparent reporting, and dedicated funding, we can ensure that we are achieving tangible results. While we acknowledge the progress made, we must also confront the challenges that remain. Women continue to be disproportionately affected by conflict and are often targeted by violence and marginalization. Furthermore, women's participation in peace processes in many regions remains limited. Hence, their needs and perspectives are still often overlooked in post-conflict reconstruction. Proliferation of small arms and light weapons compounds these challenges as it poses a serious threat to peace and security in our region. These easily accessible and often unregulated weapons fuel violence, exacerbate conflicts, and destabilize communities. They perpetuate cycles of violence that make women and children more vulnerable to harm. As we address these challenges, we must work together to regulate and prevent the proliferation of small arms, ensuring safety and stability in our region. While we acknowledge the progress made, we must also confront the challenges that remain. Women continue to be disproportionately affected by conflict and are often targeted by violence and marginalization. Furthermore, women's participation in peace processes in many regions remains limited. Hence, their needs and perspectives are still often overlooked in post-conflict reconstruction. Proliferation of small arms and light weapons compounds these challenges as it poses a serious threat to peace and security in our region. This legacy of African women in peace building is a testament to the power of their resilience, courage, and leadership. We must continue to broaden the base for the inclusion of women at all levels of peace and security efforts, not just as participants, but as leaders and decision makers. Let us look into the future with confidence. We must build on this legacy to ensure that African women are not only included in peace processes, but their leadership is recognized and institutionalized. This requires the support of all stakeholders: governments, civil society, regional organizations, international partners, and local communities. As we move forward, let us remember that Resolution 1325 is not just a resolution for women, it is for all of us. It is a call to action for a more inclusive, just, and peaceful world. We must renew our commitments to implementing the Women, Peace, and Security Agenda.